Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Don't adjust. This is not a premiere video. Many of you have asked me, how do I resin my pieces? So I thought what I would do is I would make a quick video showing you my step-by-step process. I am now an affiliate with Let's Resin. And so there's going to be discount codes in the description box if you want to order any of their products. So make sure you check out that description box. But I'm going to resin today a canvas and I'm going to resin a tile for you. All right, I'll be right back. Let's get down on the canvas. All right, everyone. So today, like I said, I'm going to be resining a 14 by 14 painting and a 4x4 coaster. I'm using the Let's Resin brand. It's an epoxy resin. It's mixed 1-to-1, so you have your part A, part B. For a 14 by 14 gallery wrap canvas, I'm only going to need about 7.5 ounces of resin. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to probably mix up about 10 ounces of resin. That way I have enough for my painting and enough for my 4x4 tile. Let's Resin got from them a self-leveling little table here, which is really cool. You just screw the bottoms in and you can make your table level if your table itself, if your actual work table is not level. So you can just use the bottom screws to screw to make the actual leveling table. Really cool. Then you get a silicone mat you can put right on top of there. That'll help protect it. And so, like I said, I'm going to need about, I'm going to mix up about 10 ounces, I think. So I've got some cups here. They've got measurements. So what I'll do is I'll do 5 ounces of the part A, 5 ounces of the part B, and put them in a 16-ounce cup. That way I've got enough room to mix everything. And then I'm going to take my Let's Resin spinner and put that down into the cup. So let's get started here. Something I learned along the way, because you don't want this to happen, is you want to put you want to label your tops of your resin. So this is A, so I'm going to put A on my cap. If you accidentally get the caps mixed up, you are going to have a hard cap on a bottle. And then it's going to be a nightmare trying to open it up. So I just, right on the top, put a little B and A on there. Okay. So let's get started. I need equal amounts, and you don't want to do it by weight, you want to do it by volume. So again, my cups have a marking, so I'm going to go fill up to about 5 ounces. And I like to get down level so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Use the cap. And then I'll take 5 ounces of the B. And this is the resin itself. Find my ounces here. A good working temperature for resin. Each resin is different, but a good working temperature is you want about 70 to 75 degrees if possible. It will work in cooler temperatures, but I do like to keep my studio warm. That helps keep things cured out a little faster. Painting and resin for that matter. All right. What I need to do is get some of these measurement cups that are larger, then I wouldn't have to use 2 cups. Make sure you scrape everything out of your cup. There you go. Let's add B to A. Make sure you scrape the sides with a stick like this, and then just use your cup and put that down in there. All right. Next, I just take my little resin mixer. I put it down into the resin and turn it on. Now I usually mix up my resin with a stick, and I will still mix it up with a stick, because what I'll do is I'll pull this out, scrape it all off, and then I'll scrape the sides of my cup to make sure everything's off the sides of the cup. But this is a pretty little nifty little mixer. I like this. Definitely can save you some time on your mixing your arm, if your arms get tired with mixing a lot. Now, the more you mix up this stuff, you are going to get air bubbles, but that's okay, because that's what the heat gun is for. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. And then, like I said, I like to kind of mix up my resin. I want to go around the edge of my cup. These are all things I've learned over time doing my resin, because if you don't make sure that you've got all the resin scraped off the side of your cup, you could have some resin that's not mixed in, and then you can have issues with either drying time. It could end up staying wet and not curing completely. Perfect though. Now, how do I apply my resin? I like to put a line of resin around the edge and then some in the middle. Then I use my finger. Some people like to use a scraper to spread their resin. I like to use my hand because I feel like I've got better control over it. But I like to run my resin over the edge so I can do the edges first and then take care of the center. That should be enough left for my coaster. Okay. Now I take my finger and I start to push the resin out towards the edge. Don't be afraid to get in there, get messy. And just run your finger through, and that pushes it over the side.
Like so. Over to the side here.
Still have one more side back here, but what I'm doing is just kind of getting things in the center here. Making sure everything's getting coated before I take it off this last side. If your finger glides across with ease, then you know you're getting resin on the sides. If you run your finger across and it just kind of suddenly stops, or if you start to feel some drag, then you're not getting resin in that area. So just make sure you come back onto the top here, work your way over to side with some resin. And now I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to blow it onto the canvas, popping any air bubbles. And it'll also kind of help push any resin over the side if there's still some lingering around. I put it on high with a high blower. And then the next thing I like to do is I like to get down to eye level with the piece, and I look to see if there's anything that looks like there's any wet, where there's not any resin. If it looks dry, if I see holes, anything that's sitting in the resin, I'll look there too. This looks good. So now what I do is I take my stick and I just run underneath, just like you would for a painting. Just getting those resin drips. That will help stop pulling the resin over the side. One piece is done. Next thing I'm going to do is I will do my coaster. My coaster's here in the center. I'm gonna take what's left of my resin. And for these, I just do a little dollop here in the center. So again, I just push the resin over the edge of the coaster, over the tile, coaster tile. And I just smooth along the edge, make sure everything gets coated. Get down level so I can see. Looks good. All right, guys, here we are with the wet result. And then here. They don't look like anything different other than they look wet. That's that resin look, which is great. You can see the shine to them. All right, everyone, so that is the piece. It is all resined. It is great, no flaws whatsoever. I still got to take it off the back. I didn't figure that would take the video too long, but what I do is I just take my heat gun and run it around the edge and just peel off my tape, and that peels everything right off. But as you can see, probably with the glare, sorry, but that is the piece. Not every piece, not every painting needs to have resin on it. That's entirely up to you which pieces you want to do. This is just how I resin my paintings and tiles. Other people might have different techniques. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The main thing you have to be very cognizant of is making sure you mix your part A and part B together and get it mixed well. Because if you don't, you will end up with patches of areas that just doesn't dry properly. So you want to make sure your resin is mixed well and you'll come out with a great outcome. So, all right, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and I have my premiere video on Sunday, so I'll see you then. Everyone have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.